Hi, how you doing? Welcome to FCPOV. The first part of the video doesn't have any spoilers, but the second part we're going to have a deep dive into the film. So, without no further ado, let's talk about Eden. Eden is a discussion and deliberation on the true nature and identity of humans. This film shows how new people around us can change us by creating a society, but not all of us. Strong, firm characters can become stronger, braver, and even grow in the corruption around them. But unstable personalities who think in a narcissistic way that they are superior to others and everything is summed up in their point of view, in mind, they usually change and become corrupted along with the corrupt society around them. Despite beautiful, strong, superficial appearance that showed us at first. And their animal instincts were taking the place of the logic and reason they kept talking about. Despite its average IMDb rating, Eden is another great film from American director Ron Howard, the director of A Beautiful Mind. Sweeney has acted very well in this film. We see a flawless performance from her in the Eden without overacting and with good acting and reacting in control of the film, at the film disposal. A great, strong, lovable character has been written for her, and her performance lands beautifully. About Ana de Armas. After playing as Marilyn Monroe in the biopic Blonde, after acting in actions like No Time to Die and Ballerina, after a lovely role in Knives Out, now she accepted a new challenge as an antagonist, as a villain in Eden. She has succeeded to a great extent. Now let's dive into the details. Dr. Frederick Ritter and his partner, George Starrow, came to this island to make a difference, to create a change in their society through thinking by writing a book and in their own words to save humans from humans. That's a big claim, but the reality is those who isolate themselves, those who distance themselves from society and don't know how their people live or what groups they are made of, those who are unaware of the economy, pains and problems of people, can't just make a difference with some series of abstract words or thoughts on a paper due to their absolute lack of knowledge of the target society. So what they said with lofty words remains a claim. On the other hand, we have victims who, due to the poor living conditions and economy of Germany after First World War, had to move away and are looking for a new home. They are the only people who take actions. They create their own little community and try to make a difference because they were present in the previous community, in the previous society that Frederick Ritter intends to change without being there. They saw his problems, fights and conflicts, and now they want to find peace on this island and build their lives from scratch. Margaret was an inexperienced girl who, due to the bad conditions of her country and her family, was forced to marry the first man she met. But she accepted Heinz and his stepson as her new family and tried to build a new family with her human behavior. This character has a completely existentialist approach. Contrary to her mother's judgments, she creates a new definition of herself with her choices, her actions, and her responsibility, and reveals her true self, her true character. The Baroness Louise steps on the island from the beginning with a selfish motive to turn this peaceful and lovely island of Frederick into a resort and luxury hotel and gain some fame. She wants to turn Frederick's exclusive peace into exclusive money for herself. They would do anything to have this island exclusively. They both are in a way obsessed with themselves and narcissists. Unlike them, the Whitmer family, who had experience of a declining and worn out society, appreciates the island's tranquility and the opportunity to start over. They had no animosity towards anyone until the Baroness crossed all the red lines. After running out of food because of her sheer consumerism, which she had brought with her from outside the island, she takes advantage of the situation and circumstances of her neighbor. When Margaret is alone and giving birth to her child, while also fighting with a bunch of wild animals, the Baroness, in order to continue doing nothing and continuing her animalistic and luxurious life, orders her servant to steal the Whitmer's canned food. Eloise even doesn't stop there. She also causes the death of Dora's beloved pet to harm Reader. This is when Heinz and Frederick come together to put an end to this false kingdom of this false princess. They go to the Baroness's tent with the intention of talking, but contrary to this claim, after a fight they kill Lois and her companion. And we see that after killing them, they act just like Baroness. They have an inhuman behavior with their corpses. Frederick begins his scheme. With the little money he gives her treacherous servant to buy the Baroness's belongings, he gives her hope of getting off the island. And with a letter he sends to the governor, he sets Heinz up and blames him for everything to own the island again by himself. Here again we see Margaret's colorful and multidimensional character. She stands behind her husband and got his back just when he's lost his self-confidence and his character is starting to crack. With her wit, intelligence, and the juxtaposition of facts, she exposes Frederick and Dora like a detective, even though all the evidence was against him at first. Throughout the film, Dora and we realized that Frederick was just talking nice wise things that were never ever meant to be followed by action. Dora realized that Frederick is no longer that idealistic person for whom she was willing to endure all the hardships. She comes to this island so that they can change human beliefs and heal their community, their society. Frederick had been changed and he was contradicting himself, saying that even animals might be superior to humans, because unlike humans who run away from their instincts, they embrace and accept their instincts. When Dora sees that Frederick has become even more corrupt under the corruption around him, she decides to kill him with a rotten chicken and run away with his previous book before Frederick has a chance to write about his corrupt thoughts. This makes the Whitmers, who once set foot on the island as uninvited guests, become the sole survivors and true owners of this island.